Hello and welcome to another session of my video classroom. If you have seen all my videos, this session, mostly this classroom, is to discuss about a topic related to logistics, transportation and supply chain. My name is Muhammad Azamdin, and in this video classroom today, we will discuss about race. Because we are managing transportation, as a transport is a vehicle that move around, we might be facing with a lot of risk. So risk could be anything. It could be theft, vehicle collisions, or even a pirate attack on an ocean vessel. So today's video classroom, we will talk about risk and how to manage risk. Okay, let's get started. Item which we will discuss is about risk. We heard this word risk in our everyday activities, in our life we heard about this word risk. So what actually risk mean? We have to know the definition of risk. The term risk, according to Coyle and others in year 2011, risk is a hazard or a source of danger that has probability of incurring loss or misfortune. I repeat, according to Coyle and others in year 2011, risk is a hazard or a source of danger that has probability of incurring loss or misfortune. The key word we refer here is hazard, danger, loss and misfortune. So these are the negative words. So as we know, risk is something related to hazard, danger and loss of misfortune. Now we look at transportation risk. What is a transportation risk? Again, I'm referring to Coyle and others year 2011. They wrote, transportation risk is a future freight movement with a probability of occurrence and the potential of impacting the supply chain performance. I repeat again, transportation risk is a future freight movement with a probability of occurrence. Another word we should look at is disruption. What does a disruption actually mean? And what does disruption of transportation mean? So first, let's look at the disruption, the meaning of disruption. I'm referring again to Coyle and others year 2011. They wrote, disruption is an event that results in a displacement or discontinuity. I repeat, disruption is an event that results in a displacement or discontinuity. Whereas transportation disruption as defined by Coyle and others year 2011, they wrote, transportation disruption is an unplanned or unanticipated event that interrupts the normal flow of goods and services and materials through the supply chain. The transportation disruption mean as an unplanned or unanticipated event that interrupts the normal flow of goods and materials through the supply chain. These two words, disruption and transportation disruption, describe what happened when things not going to plan. Something interrupts the normal flow of movement of goods. So we can see the word risk and disruption has a bad impact to a logistic activities. For a transportation companies or logistic companies, if something bad happen, something disrupt our supply chain activities, the movement of goods, so it give us, the logistic companies, a bad reputation. So if this thing happen, someone gonna get whacked. If this thing happen, someone gonna be jump up of their feet and try to solve this problem as soon as possible. Because as I said, it is logistic is based on word of mouth. If our services is good, people will come to us for the service, for providing such logistic activities. But if our companies always have problems, such as theft, involved with theft, a lot of accidents, our vehicle involved with a lot of accidents, people will started not to believe in our services. So to manage that, there are a few approach we could do. Number one, we could try to minimize such risks. Number two, we could avoid such risks. Or number three, we could eliminate such risks. But the best approach in managing risk consists of 4 steps. There are 4 steps that I will discuss here in managing risk. These 4 steps could help us in minimize or eliminate or avoid this kind of risk. The first step is to risk identification. It is to identify risk. First step is identify the risk identification. Second step is risk assessment. We assess the risk. Second step, risk assessment. We assess the risk. Third step, risk management. We manage the risk. Third step, risk management. We start to manage the risk. And lastly, the fourth step, review the risk management plan. The fourth step, we review our risk management plan. These steps begin with step 1. In the step 1, we need to identify such risks. Through this step 1, we need to evaluate potential occurrence which might occur and interrupt our freight movement. Example of such disruption could be cargo pilferage. Number 1, cargo pilferage. Number 2, pirate attack or hijacking. Number 3, vehicle collisions or accident. Number 4, the products damaged during delivery, during cargo movement. Number 5, cargo contamination. Number 6, road congestions. Number 7, shipment jettisons. And number 9, security breach. These are just examples of such disruption might occur in our transportation operation. The second step is about risk assessment, or assessing such disruption which may occur in a form of such as cargo pilferage, piracy attacks, vehicle collision, cargo damage, and so on during our transportation operation. In the second step, we have to identify such risks which I have mentioned in step 1. For example, piracy attack on our ocean tanker which sailing through the Straits of Malacca. In such situation, we need to assess, does piracy attack on ocean tanker often occurs at the Strait of Malacca? What is the chances of our ocean tanker being attacked by pirates? In order to do such assessment, we need to conduct a research on pirates attack at Straits of Malacca. Such research could be a quantitative or qualitative in manners. We could seek advice from security experts and ask them questions which is similar like an interview on as a qualitative approach to gain information related to pirate attack at the Straits of Malacca. We could also look at previous data which has been recorded and released by authorities such as the Marine Police, the Coast Guard, the Royal Malaysian Navy, and other organization that's been handling pirate attack. Such record and documentation is valuable for us in evaluating possibilities of pirate attack. These are a quantitative approach which applied when we are assessing such risk occurrence. When we assess such situation, we need to relate such occurrence with impact and probability. We could use the impact and probability table to evaluate our risk assessment. In this picture here, it represents the impact and probability table. Green color in the table represent low risk, whereas yellow color in the table represent moderate or medium risk, whereas the red color in the table represent a high risk occurrence. From the impact and probability table, we reflected to our case if our ocean tanker sailing through Straits of Malacca, and does it has a low probability occurrence or a high probability occurrence. If our ocean tanker sailing through the Strait of Malacca has a low probability occurrence of a piracy attacks, so we could see that our risk is a low risk situation. However, if the probability of piracy attack on our tanker is high, which is give a high impact to the supply chain, so we have to consider a measure to manage such risk when our vessel is being attacked by pirates. Next, we look at the third step, which is the risk management. The third step, that is the risk management. The risk management is a process referring to a mitigation plan, which once risk occurred, a mitigation plan should be implemented to overcome or to manage such risk. I would like to give a scenario here. For example, we are the transporter, ocean transporter, and we are managing ocean tankers. And our tanker is being attacked by a pirate. Our tankers is sailing through a pirate-infested waters, and it is being attacked by a pirate. So, what we should prepare, number one, we need to prepare a standard operating procedure, an SOP, for all the crews for our ocean tanker to act and react when a vessel is being attacked by a pirate and the pirate is on board of our vessel. Perhaps in the SOP should include that one of the crew should cut down or shut down the electrical powers on board of the vessel. If the pirate attack is on at night, so there will be no lighting on board, and the pirate attack on the daylight, on the daytime, there will be no power at all. Also cut the engine as well. Let the vessel stand still at certain location at a point. And also number two in the SOP should include the master of the vessel, the captain itself, should radio for help. The master should inform the authorities such as the police or the navy where are their location, what is the specific location of their vessels, the name of our vessels, also how many people on board, what is happening. They have the master have to tell they are being attacked by a pirate, and also most importantly, the master has to inform the authorities, request for help, and inform that how many pirates on board and what are the weapons that they bring along with them. Also, the masters and the crew has to hide in a certain area which is only known to them, and it is not be accessible by outsiders, especially the pirates. All of them, according to the SOP, have to be maybe like 10 minutes after the pirate on board to go to the hideout area and hide for themselves. They can only come out after they hear a secure password given to them by for example, authorities. In this case might be the Royal Navy. When they have heard about this password, they can only come out from their hideout. Okay, these are examples of SOP that we should mitigate in our risk mitigation plan, whereby if a piracy attack, these are the things which need to be done. This is just a scenario of a risk mitigation plan. In mitigating risk, in steps 3, there are other approach that we could apply in managing our risk. Number 1, we could avoid such risks. I repeat, number 1, we could avoid such risks. In the case of our ocean tanker, we could avoid such risks by not sailing through the Straits of Malacca. As we know, the Strait of Malacca is infected with pirates. Our vessel could go through the route passing through Straits of Sunda at Indonesia. So we could use this route to avoid pirate infested areas. Number 2, risk transfer. The second approach of a risk mitigation, we could apply risk transfer. When we talk about risk transfer, in our case here, pirate attack, we could buy insurance related to piracy attack. Buying such insurance policy will transfer our risk to the insurance company. So, when the pirate attack occurs on our payment, we could demand insurance payment from the insurance company to recover the losses that incurred from pirates attack. Number 3, another method is risk reduction. The risk reduction is the third approach, whereby if our vessel still need to sail to the pirate infested water, we may have to hire armed personnel or personnel with guns to be on board of our vessel, or we could request the Navy to escort our vessel during the voyage through the infested water. We have to make a formal demand, a formal request to the Ministry of Defence for our vessel to be escorted by a Royal Navy. This occurs, such action refrain the risk from occurring. When the pirates saw that Navy escorted our vessel, our ocean tankers, be escorted by the Navy, they might think twice to attack our vessel. The fourth approach is risk retention. When we talk about risk retention as the fourth approach in managing our risk retention is we look at when the risk is inevitable and we have to face such risk, the piracy attack. Some action need to be prepared. So in this case, the risk retention is referring to the standard operating procedures that we should implement when our vessels being attacked by a pirate. So the SOP which I have mentioned earlier is an example of a risk retention process which we mitigate when our vessel being attacked by pirates. The last and final step in our risk management plan is the risk reviewing. The fourth step is to review our risk management plan. Risk management planning is not a one-time activity. Such planning requires constant review, and this review need participation from all the members in our logistic business organization. Each member from our logistic organization, ranging from the operation, human resource, management, finance, and also the top management team, has to contribute their ideas on how to improve their SOP and also their risk management planning. So, this action requires all members to participate and give their ideas. A word of caution is that the risk management plan will fail when organization member itself does not play an active role in providing ideas and on how to improve the risk mitigation planning process. We, as the logistic practitioner, need to prepare and periodically review our risk planning process. We need to improve any weakness that we have found in our risk planning process and make a correction or improvement so that this process able to cope up with any dangers that arise. Well, we have come to the end of this video classroom, and I would like to recap what we have learned so far from this video classroom. As this video talk about managing risk, so first we have defined risk. As you can see, risk is related to the disruption of supply chain activities. So when our vehicle faces something that disrupt the supply chain process, the goods cannot be delivered. So these are the risks that we have to foresee before it's happened, or when it's happened, we have to act and react towards the situation. In managing risks, there are 4 processes that I have discussed. The first consists of identify the risks. Second, we have to assess the risk. Third, we have to manage the risk. And number 4, we have to review our risk management plan. Well, so far I hope you guys have learned something from this video classroom, and I'm looking forward to meet with you guys again in another session of our video classroom related to logistics, transportation and supply chain. My name is Mama Azamdin. I am looking forward to meet with you in another session. Goodbye, good luck and good speed.